Greetings to all you diabolical villains out there. Pardon me. I mean to say hello and welcome. This is Jake the Voice right here on The Cyberden, your weekly dose of tech and games. This week I'm going to be chatting with Melaney Mills, the voice actor of Dementia from Villainous. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thank you so much for having me, Jake.
Now, Melaney, let's start off with a bread and butter question. How did you get into the world of voice acting? What inspired you to become a voice actor?
Okay, I love this question. Well, I grew up in a very musical family. So I grew up around recording studios and but being around musical artists. So that aspect of it was definitely something that I've been around my whole life. But then I ended up graduating with a degree in telecommunication arts, basically in a television production degree from the University of Georgia. And I started basically working in audio post. I did some work in video post production as well, but started work in audio post and ended up back in 2006, 2007, starting my own audio and video post production company. And that I co-owned with my ex-husband. So that put me directly day to day in touch with producers and um, casting. Some casting was I was asked to do, and I was kind of thrown into some positions where they needed some things last minute, and I was like, let me just jump in and see if I can do this. And I really loved it. I will say that I have always loved to sing, but I have terrible stage fright. So this is like the best of all worlds. It's kind of like getting to be fun and make fun of yourself and act, but nobody's kind of watching you, if that makes sense.
So, do you have any favourite voice actors, perhaps, or favourite actors in general?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question too. To be honest with you, I don't I can't, that would be too hard of a question, really. Um a favorite actor just in general. I love Anthony Hopkins. I'm trying to think of other people. That's like a question I don't get asked very often, and it would be very hard for me to kind of answer, I guess.
Now, let's talk about Villainous, created by the ever-so-talented Alan Eterial. So, how did he get the role of Demencia?
Okay, well, this is really awesome. An amazing opportunity. So, like I was saying, I co owned and ran an audio and video post production company in Atlanta. And as you may know, Turner Broadcasting is based out of Atlanta, and we worked with a lot of clients at Turner. Probably our largest client at the time was Cartoon Network Latin America. We did a ton of work for them. And when Alan kind of came around, I think he was talking to Cartoon Network Latin America, and they basically were like, you need to produce some things. You need to do some work, and we have a production company here locally that I think can help you. And they put Alan in touch with us, with Trax Productions in Atlanta. And I took that call, and just Alan and I introduced ourselves to each other. And he was like, I want to start creating some shorts, and I've got this kind of ready to go and want to do some things, but I need your help. I need casting. I need a place to do it. And that's how it basically started. It was kind of a beautiful thing and a beautiful opportunity that Cartoon Network Latin America trusted us with. We had just been a long-term client of theirs, and it was just great. So that's how it kind of started. At first, I had no idea that I would be doing any kind of voiceover work for the cartoon. I was strictly being brought on as like a production manager. And at the time, my husband was an audio designer, sound designer, and he was going to be doing sound design for the entire cartoon. So that's how we first got into it. But then quickly, Alan was like, I need to find English. I need to find English actors. I need to find VO talent. Could you help me do that? And I was like, absolutely. I would love to. We work with a lot of them. So I'll start putting together like some auditions and sending them to you. And that is actually how I got the part. I honestly he did not know it was me when I don't believe he did because several people auditioned for Dementia. But he did end up choosing me as the voice. And some of the clients in Atlanta that we had worked with, VO Talent, they were also cast as Dr. Flug. 505 was cast by Alan. He wanted, I think he came across Markiplier as a person, a YouTuber that had some fame, and he was like, I would love this guy to be the part of 505. So they were talking amongst themselves, and then of course everybody knows Alan as the voice of Blackhat. So, and he's just amazing. He speaks English so perfectly, like you would not even know that like he just didn't even have an accent when he spoke the English part. It was just that funny kind of vampire-ish voice that he does so great. But yeah, so that's how it all came about.
I'd just like to take a moment to do a quick shout out to Alan Tiriel himself. If you're listening, mate, two things. Number one, there's always a space for you here on the Cyberden if you would like yourself a radio interview. And number two, if you're ever needing another voice actor for Villainous for a future episode, get this guy I know, Jake the something the voice. His name escapes me, but very talented guy. So I've heard, a very cool guy. But anyway. So what is it that you love about playing Dementia? Why do you love this character?
I love her because she's total fun. She's super hyperactive. She's a teenager. She's wild and silly and uninhibited and just all over the place. And so it's super fun to be her. And laughing and I've kind of, since I was a kid, I've been known for my laugh. It's kind of a funny joke, but that was I think a big reason why Alan chose me was because of my crazy, like maniac kind of laugh that I have. So that I think is my favorite thing about Dementia is doing her more of her sounds and her laugh than so much dialogue. I love just like being her, like just kind of feeling and being her.
So do you have any favorite moments with Dementia or favorite lines that you did?
Well, in the Dreadful Dawn, the pilot episode, I love her laugh, and I can do some of that for you. But I love the line where we don't need a silly plan. We just need to kick this guy's super butt. I just loved that. I just thought it was really funny and kiddish and silly. And I always love just laughing and doing the crazy, like, like I love doing that. So super fun. It's hard to think that this is even a job, to be honest.
So what are your thoughts on the fan feedback, this huge kind of following online? I'm sure you've checked out the shorts and the episodes online already, right?
I have. I've checked it out, and I mean, I'm pretty blown away by it. I'll be honest with you, have not been like a huge cartoon fan growing up, like, or just in adult life, but this opened my eyes to like a completely different, it's like a whole other world. Just so many creative people, and it's been pretty amazing. I can't say that I'm that surprised. Like, I think the cartoon is so unique and in a way, and I love Alan's creativity and his little nuances he makes to horror films and other things. I just think that's really cool. So I'm not really surprised by it, but I've just kind of like learned a lot and been pretty surprised at just the fan world of cartoons in general and how huge it is. When I was first like cast, I started just a silly little Instagram account that basically the handle is "This is Dementia," but when I went to create it, I asked Alan if I could create this and just kind of pretend to be her, and he was like, "Absolutely, go for it." Well, when I went to do it, there were already like several accounts with people doing dementia things and posting pictures and cartoons and their own creations, and that was just really astonishing to me. And then the first time I like went to look at a GIF and I typed in dementia and there was an actual little GIF that I could send somebody of her was pretty funny too. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing, I would say.
So do you have any plans for kind of continuing that?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to be doing this as a career, as a side gig, as anything. I mean, it's super fun. Really, the only work I did as a voiceover artist, and it was quite a bit of work, but it was before I was cast as a dementia. Was promo work. I was doing promos for Boomerang Network, but Boomerang in Latin America, which sounds kind of crazy, but I was the English speaking voice in Latin America for the channel. So I did a bunch of promo work for them for 2 to 3 years. I have the ability to I have a pretty young voice despite my age. And they liked that. They liked having somebody with a younger voice, but that could get things cranked out. And it worked out because I worked in an audio post studio. And so I had access to that VO booth pretty much 24/7. So that was really the main or the only VO work I did prior to getting cast. So yes, I would love any kind of work from this. And I have actually I just remembered, but I have gotten cast as a couple of tiny little roles in some YouTube cartoons. I don't know that I can really talk about, but they found me because of dementia and wanted that voice. And so I have gotten to do a couple of little cartoons just for YouTube.
Well, like I was saying earlier, really hard to kind of like find you online. Why is that? Do you just prefer your privacy, or are there other reasons?
No, that I think it's kind of funny because I'm actually like I kind of love social media and I am around. But I think that my role was so interesting when I was involved with all of this, because not only was I dementia, that was just one aspect of what I was doing. I was the production manager for the entire audio post for the cartoon. So I was very much involved in meetings and the business side of this as well. So it was like one job of mine was the voiceover work. I don't know if that's really the reason why it's hard to find me. But that's pretty much it. And it's kind of funny it's funny you're mentioning this because the character, Dr. Flug, the actor that plays him, he is from Atlanta and he actually goes by a pseudonym. He is extremely hard to find and doesn't have any social media accounts and wants it that way. So I think it's funny you're saying this about me because I kind of feel like I'm not, but he definitely is.
Actually, I was going to say to the voice actor for Flug out there, hey, if you're listening, please come on for an interview.
Oh, he would love to do an interview with you. I actually was talking to him just a couple of weeks ago and I told him about this opportunity, and He was like, "You've got to do it," and tell him I'll do it too. So he would love to. He would absolutely love that.
So have you checked out the fan kind of content, like the video edits, the villainous themed playlists, fan arts, anything like that?
I would say I'm not hugely involved in that. No, I see some of it. I follow some of the villainous fan pages, like on social media. So I see I see some of the. I've seen it for years now, but I haven't, as of recent, been following it very closely because my involvement with villainous has changed. But back when it was just starting, I was watching a lot of it and it was crazy to me. Just the mainly just all of the artwork and the I don't even know how to describe it because I'm not really a part of this like cartoon fandom world, but just like the changing the characters to be different types of people. Like it was just kind of crazy to me, like how Dementia could turn into like this very stylish or sexy kind of character, and it just was like so funny to me and blew my mind like that people were doing that. At the same time, I just loved it. I'm kind of I like to think of myself as an artist, so I love anything artistic or creative. So I do like that aspect of it, but to say I follow it closely, I do not.
Well, you actually mentioned about your role in Villainous Changing. We actually spoke about this before we did the interview, for those who don't know. So could you tell us a bit more about that? Could you delve into a bit more detail?
Sure, I would love to kind of talk to people just because about my role changing, just because it can. I guess what I've learned about this voiceover world is, things can be very exciting and change kind of very quickly. But I originally got involved with the cartoon from its basically from its very start with the shorts. I believe that was around 2015, 2016. And basically was working with the cartoon up until the pilot episode, The Dreadful Dawn, when that launched. Very exciting. Recorded that all in Atlanta at Trax Productions. Was just a wonderful experience. However, after that, like things always do, I can't say that this was the part that wasn't unusual, but things just change in the production world. You like to think that there was a lot of excitement after that pilot, and just I think everybody thought, well, production's going to be rolling on that, or they've already got the first season completed, and that was not the case. It it came, it went, it sat for a very long time. I would say then probably COVID had something to do with the next year after after it launched, because I believe we were recording and doing the pilot episode the very end of 2018, but it premiered, I believe it was June 1st of 2019. So at that point, the cartoon just kind of got into this wait and see phase, and we didn't hear much. And I would check in with Alan from time to time, and things were very positive, but it was just moving slowly. And one thing that I don't like, I was explaining to you earlier, but one thing I don't think a lot of people realize is that this was probably one of the first, if not the first, original cartoon produced by Cartoon Network Latin America. Usually things got produced in America on the domestic side, and they were dubbed into Spanish. But this was truly a first for Cartoon Network Latin America, and it was just awesome. Alan, just, I can't say enough good things about him. He's truly like a genius, and just the sweetest, kindest person, beyond creative, beyond wise, like just a very great person all around. But I don't think people realize that when this was created, although Alan and his company were based and are from Mexico, in Mexico City, the cartoon was created by Alan in English. He wanted it to be an American English cartoon. So when he cast the original cast, they were the English speakers. They were me and him, and it was just and taught or a sayer, I should call him, that did Dr. Flug, and we were the English speaking actors, and we were the original cast. However, and then there were dub artists that they hired to do the dubbing in Spanish. However, what happened in that waiting time after the launch of the pilot is that production changed and they decided to produce the cartoon first in Spanish. So everything kind of changed. I mean, no longer were the characters and the animation being built to our, like their lip flap being built to us. It was now switched, and they did not even dub it into English at all, at first. And some things, I think some things got aired, and there wasn't even an English side of this. And when that started happening, I was reaching out and kind of going, "Hey, I'm seeing some new stuff, and this is really exciting, but I haven't heard from you guys." And as it come to find out, they ended up just at the beginning this year inquiring about, or maybe it was last year, inquiring about us coming on to be the English dub artists. And it was not, I was definitely something I was interested in doing, but it was quite shocking to go from being the original cast member, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm asked, a dub house in Miami is calling me to basically just get me to record some lines. I thought it was really strange. I reached out to production for Cartoon Network Latin America, and to be honest, just didn't really get a response. I don't know why that is. Definitely has been somewhat disappointing, but it is just, I guess, an aspect of the industry that is talked about. But I mean, things can change just like that, and um, it's just weird, though. I'll be honest, it's kind of weird that we were kind of chosen by our voices, and then I know the artists in Latin America are extremely talented, but they were kind of chosen because they sounded like us, and now all of a sudden we're the dub artists. It's just a weird kind of situation. Um, anyway, that's pretty much the whole where we are at this point with it. I wish and hope that I can be a part of the cartoon in some way. I would love to be a part of any voiceover work, that I mean at all. But I wish nothing but the best for Alan and the cartoon. Villainous is a great cartoon with great people, and I have nothing negative to really say other than I'm just disappointed that I'm no longer getting to do the work that was so fun.
Well, let's cross fingers and see if things change behind the scenes, because you never know. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So anyway, let's talk about something a little bit more positive. Let's talk about dream roles. Are there any kind of voice roles that you would love to do?
Oh my gosh, that's great. Um, I just would love to do more cartoons. I love to, one thing that I really enjoyed that I had never really spent a lot of time thinking about is that the creators, when they create these characters, these characters have an entire life. They have an entire story. They have an entire backstory. And these are things that I got to learn about from the creator and really got to just kind of really envision and be and learn about dementia as a whole. I mean, she kind of just seems like a silly, crazy teenager, but she has a lot of history and a lot of stuff to her and parts. So I really just would love in a dream world just working on any cartoon with a creator that just is really good at crafting characters, that's really passionate about what they do, and just I don't know, it's put a lot of thought and time into character production. Like I just think it's amazing. It's a story, and I'm from the South, and I'm a storyteller by nature. So I just love a good story. So really, voiceover work, I just anything fun. I love the voice that I kind of naturally am and do, but I'm pretty good at mimicking things, and I love just kind of any challenge as far as just fun voices, I would say.
So when you're not voice acting, how do you like to relax and unwind?
Oh, well, I live about 200 feet from the beach in Florida. So that is where I currently live now. And so I love to relax on the beach, walk on the beach, hang out with friends. I also do, this sounds kind of crazy, but I have started working in the retail industry and do live sales and content creation for a boutique that is here in Florida. And I love that. And so now I'm on camera some, and it sounds kind of silly, but there is some acting involved in that as well. And it's very fun, and enjoy that. But relaxing, going to the beach. I also like to paint. I enjoy painting. But yeah, that's it.
Melaney, let me just say it's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for coming on board.
You are so welcome, Jake. I appreciate it so much. I'm glad you did find me. All right, and I will put you in touch with Flug. He needs to come on and talk to you.
That would be brilliant, yeah. And like I say, Alan, if you're listening, come on board, mate. You know you want to. Please, I'll sacrifice whoever you want to make it happen. Anyway, before we round off this interview, is there anything you'd like to say to the many Villainous fans out there?
I would just say, keep on loving the villains. Keep on loving the villains, and keep doing what you're doing. Like, I'd love to see this just grow into just a massive cartoon that has as much excitement and notoriety and viewership here and domestically, because I would love to be able to sit down and watch it right here. So I think just the more it can be talked about and put out there, that I just go for it. Just do it. I mean, I'm the biggest fan there with you, and just thank you all so much for introducing me to this kind of completely different world that I didn't know about, that is filled with some amazing, creative, just awesome humans. So, yeah.
And I'd like to thank my lovely listeners out there for tuning into another great interview right here on the Cyber Den, your weekly dose of tech and games. Melaney, thanks for coming aboard. See you later. Good luck with all those villainous things out there.
Thank you.
This is Dementia from Villainous speaking, calling all you villains out there to keep checking out Jake the Voice on the Cyber Den.